You are not tired. You are not unmotivated. You are not broken. You are simply disconnected from the future that demands your greatness. Motivation was never your problem. Your soul was built for fire. Your blood carries the DNA of warriors, visionaries, rebels who shaped history with nothing but raw conviction and a cause bigger than comfort. But the world you live in has silenced your vision. It has starved it. It has buried it beneath notifications, comparisons, likes, fears, and distractions, until the voice of your destiny became a whisper you barely hear anymore. And so you think you lack motivation. But what you truly lack is sight. Not the sight of your eyes, but of your spirit. The ability to see beyond the now, to pierce through the fog of mediocrity and glimpse what could be, if only you stopped negotiating with your limits. You are not empty. You are overfed on the wrong things. You scroll for stimulation instead of seeking solitude. You chase comfort instead of crafting character. You build routines around dopamine, not destiny. And yet, deep within, something still burns. You feel it. In those quiet moments before sleep, in the aching stare into your own reflection, in the pit of your gut when you imagine dying without becoming who you were born to be. That is not anxiety. That is truth, trying to resurrect itself. Because you were not created to live numb. You were not made to coast. You are not here to blend in. You are here to break the pattern. And to do that, you need a vision so clear it rattles your bones. A vision so vivid you can taste it when you close your eyes. So powerful it eclipses fear. So demanding it forces you to rise. Because motivation without vision is a spark with no fuel. It flickers, then dies. But vision, true vision, is nuclear. It burns in darkness. It survives winters. It outlasts doubt. Think of the men who changed the world. They weren't the smartest. They weren't the richest. But they were possessed by a vision that wouldn't let them sleep. Lincoln saw a nation reborn. Edison saw light in a world of darkness. Disney saw entire worlds before he had a single dollar. They had no proof, only belief. And in a world obsessed with certainty, that belief made them dangerous. Because visionaries do not beg for permission. They build, they bleed, they believe when no one else will. And if you want to rise, if you want to become more than just another echo in the chamber, you must stop asking for motivation like it's candy and start crafting a vision that scares you. Because it's only when your vision becomes bigger than your excuses that your life will finally move. Don't wait to be inspired. Command your soul to awaken. Strip away the noise. Shut off the world. Sit in silence and dare to imagine what your life would look like if you stopped shrinking, if you stopped doubting, if you stopped waiting for perfect timing and started walking like you were chosen. What would you build? Who would you become? What would your presence feel like if you moved through the world with clarity, not confusion, conviction, not hesitation, power, not performance? Because the truth is, you've glimpsed that version of yourself already, in fleeting moments, in dreams. In daydreams so vivid they made your heart race. That version of you exists, but it will not come to life through comfort. It will only be born through self-mastery. And mastery begins with the mind. You think you need more discipline. You think you need better habits. But habits built on the wrong identity will always collapse. You don't need another productivity hack. You need to become someone new. Someone who does not wait to feel ready. Someone who does not need applause. Someone who does not abandon themselves when the world doubts them. That's what Nietzsche meant when he said, "Become who you are," not who they told you to be. Not who your past defines you as, but who your soul screams for when the masks fall away. Become the kind of person who commands motivation because they command themselves, because they've declared war on distraction, because they've chosen vision over comfort, duty over dopamine, becoming over belonging. And once that decision is made, truly made, everything begins to change. The way you wake up, the way you move, the way you look at time, energy, pain, and possibility. You stop seeing life as something happening to you and start living as if everything is happening for your evolution. And it is. The pain is refining you. The delays are testing you. The silence is shaping you. The setbacks are sculpting the edges of your strength. This is not punishment. This is preparation. But only for those who can see beyond the temporary. Only for those who choose to believe in a future that hasn't happened yet. Only for those who are willing to endure the cost of greatness. And make no mistake, there is a cost. Comfort will hate you. Friends will not understand you. Distractions will mock you. The old you will fight to survive. But if you stay faithful to the vision, if you refuse to bow, then one day, the very pain that tried to break you will become the proof that you were always becoming. And so you must begin to see yourself not as you are, but as you are meant to become. The future version of you, the one who lives with fire in his veins and precision in his purpose, is not an accident waiting to happen. He is forged. He is the result of brutal self-honesty, of decisions made in silence, of sacrifices no one sees, of countless moments when quitting whispered seductively, and he said no. You are not here to entertain options. You are here to embody inevitability, because clarity is a weapon, and right now you are walking through life with a dull blade, hacking at circumstances, hoping something changes. But clarity sharpens everything. Clarity turns actions into weapons. Clarity turns time into a forge. Clarity turns pain into purpose. But clarity does not come from thinking. It comes from committing. If you want a clear life, live with clear lines. Draw them, cut them, bleed for them. Lines that say, I no longer live like that. Lines that say, I will not betray the man I am becoming. Lines that say, I refuse to be the product of my environment. I will become the cause of a new one. Because until you get clear, your energy will leak. You'll try to juggle potential with distraction. You'll make half promises to your future and full excuses for your past. You'll dabble, drift, delay, and call it patience. But don't mistake passivity for faith. Don't mistake stalling for preparation. Don't mistake comfort for alignment. You are either building the vision or you are breaking it. And if you're honest, you already know which one you've been doing. So stop pretending that the path is unclear. You know what needs to be done. You know which habits are killing you. You know which people dilute your energy. You know which environments shrink your spirit. You know what version of you must be executed for the next to emerge. This is the death required for rebirth. This is not motivation. This is evolution. This is the moment you stop negotiating with your lower self and declare war on the story that's kept you stagnant. Because there is a darker truth most will never admit. They don't want clarity, because clarity costs them their excuses. When you see what you must do, you can no longer hide behind ignorance. When you see who you're meant to be, you can no longer justify playing small. When you see the life that's possible, you can no longer tolerate the life that is. But most people don't want that kind of vision, because it demands accountability. And accountability strips the soul bare. It forces you to ask, if I know what's required and I still don't act, then who am I really? That's a terrifying question, but it's also the key to your freedom. Because until you face that question, every win will feel hollow. Every moment of peace will be temporary. Every success will taste like dust. You must become the kind of person who demands truth from yourself, not validation. Validation is sugar for the starving. Truth is the meal that rebuilds your bones. And the truth is this: you were meant for more than survival. You were meant for sovereignty. Not the kind of fake freedom sold to you by ads and influencers, but the real kind. The kind born from mastery over your own mind. Because until you rule your thoughts, you will always be ruled by your circumstances. The mind is not a pet. It's a wild animal. If you do not train it, it will devour your future. And your mind right now is addicted to smallness, addicted to comfort, addicted to urgency over meaning, noise over vision, reaction over creation. But you can reforge it. Because the mind obeys clarity. The mind follows identity. And the greatest shift of your life will come when you stop asking, how do I stay motivated? And start asking, who would I be if I never betrayed my vision again? Answer that. And everything changes. You'll stop waiting to feel ready. You'll stop chasing hits of dopamine. You'll stop building a life to impress people you don't even respect. And you'll start moving like a man on a mission, not a mission of ego, not a mission of aesthetics, but a mission of becoming. Because here's the secret. True confidence is not built from praise. It's built from alignment, the kind of alignment where your thoughts, your actions, and your vision all match. No more pretending, no more dual lives. No more whispering your goals like apologies. Speak them, own them, stand on them, like the rock beneath your feet. And when the storms come, and they will come, you will not be moved, because you will know who you are. You will know why you're here. You will know that the vision is real, and it is worth every scar, every sacrifice, every lonely mile on the path few dare to walk. You're not waiting for motivation. You're waiting for the courage to see yourself clearly. And once you do, there is no going back. Because once the mind expands, it can never shrink again. Once you've tasted alignment, you'll spit out anything less. Once you've glimpsed your destiny, truly glimpsed it, you will walk through fire to reach it, and you'll do it without applause, because the vision is enough. And now, let us speak of purpose. Because vision without purpose is a mirage, a beautiful illusion that seduces the weak but never sustains the strong. Purpose is the gravitational force behind the unstoppable. It is the invisible flame that burns when everything else has gone dark. It is what Nietzsche called the why that makes any how possible. And without it, you drift. You wake up, but you don't rise. You work, but you don't build. You live, but you do not burn. Most people never find their purpose, not because it doesn't exist, but because they never silence the world long enough to hear it calling. They chase noise. They chase status. They chase what looks good on paper, what pays the bills, what avoids judgment. And they forget that purpose doesn't come from the world. It comes against it. Your purpose will never be approved by the masses. It will never be universally applauded. It will rarely make sense at first, because purpose isn't logical. It's primal. It's born of the part of you that remembers what you came here to do before the world told you who you had to be. And here's the truth they'll never teach you in school. You do not find purpose in a textbook. You do not discover it in a job title. You uncover it in the pursuit of hard things. Purpose is revealed in resistance, in the quiet suffering of discipline, in the war between who you are and who you could be, in the moments when your soul screams for rest, but you keep moving anyway, because it's not about what you like. It's about what you'd bleed for. It's about asking, what would I fight for, even if no one ever knew my name? What would I build, even if it broke me in the process? What pain am I willing to endure, because the cost of not doing it would destroy me? That's purpose. And until you know it, you'll keep running in circles, chasing cheap wins, shallow goals, empty applause. But once you lock onto your purpose, really lock in, the noise of the world fades. Because now you don't need motivation. You don't need approval. You don't even need results. Because the mission itself becomes the reward. Purpose makes suffering sacred. Purpose turns pain into power. Purpose rewires the nervous system to welcome challenge, to love the strain, to crave the forge. Because when you know what you're here to do, you want the weight. You want the pressure, the discipline, the grind. Not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. You stop living like a civilian and start moving like a soldier of destiny. And make no mistake, purpose will cost you everything. You will lose comfort. You will lose convenience. You will lose people who only loved the version of you that stayed small. But in that loss, you will gain yourself. You will gain alignment. You will gain a fire that can't be put out by failure, by fatigue, or by the opinions of the blind. Because once you have purpose, you become a problem for the mediocre. You become dangerous to the status quo. You become the kind of force that history remembers, not because you were perfect, but because you refused to die normal. And yet purpose alone is not enough. It must be chained to discipline. Because the dream dies in the hands of the undisciplined. The vision collapses when it is not anchored in daily obedience. The purpose becomes a fantasy if it's not lived in the trenches. Discipline is the bridge between the man you are and the man you are destined to be. Not talent, not passion, not charisma, discipline. The willingness to do what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. The ability to keep showing up, not for applause, not for dopamine, but because you gave your word to your future. And if your word means nothing to you, You will always be enslaved by the opinions of others. Discipline is how you earn your own respect, and until you do, no amount of external validation will ever fill the hole inside. So get up earlier, push harder, train longer, think deeper, execute ruthlessly, not because it's trendy, but because you are crafting a legacy. A legacy not measured in likes, but in lives impacted. A legacy built not on noise, but on truth. A legacy written not in ink, but in iron. And here's the real kicker. Discipline doesn't just build results, it builds identity. With every hard thing you do, with every temptation you reject, with every day you act with intention, you're casting a vote for the man you are becoming. And that man is watching. He sees whether you fold or whether you forge. He knows when you're lying to yourself. He feels it when you betray the vision. So stop living like your future doesn't depend on your present. Stop acting like your habits don't matter. Stop pretending you have time. The clock is ticking, and it does not care about your potential. It rewards only execution. You want a better life? Become a better man, not tomorrow, now. With sweat, with scars, with ruthless commitment to something higher than comfort. And understand this. The world doesn't need more content. It doesn't need more noise. It needs more men of vision, men who live what they preach, men who build in silence, men who carry purpose like a torch, not a slogan. So ask yourself, what would your life look like if you stopped performing and started becoming? If you stopped consuming and started creating? If you stopped wishing and finally willed it? Because that version of you, the real you, is waiting. But he's not found in motivation. He's born through mastery, and mastery begins now. And when mastery becomes your standard, not your goal, but your standard, you stop living like time is unlimited. You stop waiting for the stars to align. You stop needing perfect conditions, because you become the condition. You become the storm. While others wait for certainty, you move with conviction. While others seek balance, you build momentum. While others crumble under the pressure of setbacks, you rise, because you know pain is part of the path. Doubt is part of the path. Rejection is part of the path, and none of it is personal. It's just resistance testing your resolve. Edison didn't wait for permission. He failed 10,000 times, not because he was wrong, but because his vision was bigger than his pride. Lincoln lost more elections than he won, but he wasn't chasing comfort. He was chasing destiny. Carnegie, Ford, Disney, they weren't chosen. They were forged. They didn't inherit legacy. They built it brick by brick, failure by failure, because greatness is not granted. It is earned in silence, and silence is where most people lose. They need noise. They need feedback. They need constant validation to feel alive. But those who rise, they learn to thrive in isolation. They understand that becoming powerful isn't glamorous. It's gritty, it's lonely, it's repetitive. It's showing up to the gym when your muscles ache, opening the laptop when your eyes burn, saying no when your whole body craves the easy yes. This is not punishment. This is the price. You must kill the version of you that fears discomfort. You must bury the identity that needs to be entertained. You must destroy the part of you that waits to feel ready. Because ready is a myth. And while others chase motivation like addicts, you will become a weapon of focus. Because focus is your edge. It's how you make 1 hour feel like 10. It's how you turn minutes into milestones. It's how you separate yourself from the world of dabblers. The world is full of people doing 10 things at once and finishing none of them. Don't be one of them. Clarity, conviction, execution, that's your trinity. And if you master it, if you train your focus like a blade, you will cut through mediocrity like fire through fog. But here's the catch. Focus requires sacrifice. You must choose to narrow your attention. You must choose to silence the noise. You must choose to walk away from comfort, from chaos, from distraction disguised as opportunity. Because not everything that calls your name deserves your energy. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every invitation is worth the detour. Your attention is currency, and every time you spend it on the trivial, you are robbing your destiny. So become a guardian of your focus. Protect it with your life, because your life is what it will cost if you don't. And once you master focus, you unlock your next superpower, resilience, the ability to rise again and again without bitterness, without doubt, without hesitation. Resilience is not a mindset, it is a muscle. It is not built through ease, it is built through endurance. And most people never build it because they never stay long enough in the fire. They think discomfort means something is wrong. They think struggle is a sign to quit. But pain is not the enemy. It is the proof you are in the right arena. If your path is easy, you are likely on someone else's. But when the vision is yours, when it is authentic, when it comes from the deepest part of you, you will face opposition not because you're failing, but because you're finally becoming. And resilience? It means rising anyway. It means pushing forward when the applause stops. It means rebuilding the mission after every setback, not with less fire, but with more. This is how empires are built, not through one big win, but through 1,000 refusals to quit. So let the storms come, let the setbacks stack, let the world say you're crazy, obsessed, unrealistic. They said the same thing about every legend history remembers, but history is written by the relentless. And you're no longer here to be liked, you are here to be legendary, and legends are adaptable. They don't cry about the rules, they don't freeze when the plan breaks, they adjust, they reframe, they evolve. Because life will never go according to script. And that's not a glitch, that's the design. You're not meant to memorize the lines, you're meant to become the author. Adaptability is power. It is the difference between those who break and those who bend and rise higher. It's the mindset that says, if this door closes, I will build my own. If the game changes, I become the new rule. If I fall, I learn, and then I strike harder. This is evolution in real time. This is the art of becoming anti-fragile, where the pressure doesn't crush you, it carves you. And this is where most people tap out, because evolution isn't romantic. It's not pretty. It's brutal, unforgiving, and often invisible. But those who endure the silence of transformation are the ones who roar the loudest when they rise. So stay in the forge, embrace the dark nights, love the lonely mornings, welcome the uncertainty, not as a curse, but as a confirmation that you are no longer living by default. You are living by design, and that design is sculpted daily, not by luck, not by chance, but by deliberate creation. You are not here to survive the chaos, you are here to shape it. You are not a victim of your environment, you are the architect of your reality. And every time you adapt, every time you rise, every time you refuse to go quietly into the night, you are writing a story that cannot be ignored. You are not lacking motivation. You are lacking a vision so powerful it consumes you. But once you see it, truly see it, you will never unsee it again. And from that moment forward, you will become unrecognizable, because this is the turning point, the moment where the line is drawn between who you were and who you decide to become. Right here, right now, not next year, not when it's convenient, not when the world gives you permission. But in this very breath, you decide whether your life becomes a warning or a weapon, because purpose doesn't wait. Destiny doesn't knock politely. It breaks down the door and asks if you're ready to bleed for what you believe. So ask yourself, are you still waiting for the world to hand you a mission? Or will you carve it from the chaos with your bare hands? You see, most people never live. They exist. They drift. They confuse survival with purpose, routine with meaning, safety with destiny, and they die long before they're buried. Because they never truly looked into the mirror and said, this is my life. This is my path, and I will own every inch of it. You were not put here to chase likes. You were not born to fit in. You were not made to be manageable, marketable, or mild. You were made to burn, to create, to destroy the lies you inherited and build the truth you choose. And that truth is this: you are not broken. You are becoming. The pain you carry, it's not your prison, it's your permission to rise, to speak, to create something real from the ashes of what nearly destroyed you. Because fire does not only consume, it purifies. And every scar on your soul is not a wound, it's proof you survived what others couldn't. So stop hiding your hunger. Stop apologizing for your fire. Stop minimizing your power just to make others comfortable. This world does not need more politeness. It needs more people willing to walk through hell with their head held high. Not because they love the flames, but because they refuse to kneel. Let the masses chase dopamine. Let them scroll, swipe, and sink into distraction. You rise in silence. You build. You endure. You forge the unshakable within yourself, because you no longer need hype. You have honor. You no longer seek validation. You have vision. You no longer wait for a savior. You became the storm. And that's the truth no one will hand you. Your destiny was never out there. It was always inside you, sleeping, waiting, daring you to awaken it. And now that it's awake, now that your vision has pierced through the fog, there's no going back. You've tasted what it means to feel alive. Not comfortable, not safe, not entertained, but alive. And you know now, that's the only state worth living in. So this is your commandment. Live with vision, or don't live at all. Because a man without vision is not a man, he is a shadow. But you were born for fire. You were born for more. And if that scares the world, good. Let it. Because the day you stop chasing motivation and start living with vision is the day the world stops defining you, and you start defining the world. So go. Not in search of something to do, but in pursuit of who you must become. Write it on your bones. Speak it in your silence. Move like your blood remembers what your mind forgot, that you were never meant to crawl. You were meant to command, to create, to conquer, because the vision is clear now, and there's nothing left to wait for. This is the hour you rise. This is the moment you reclaim your crown. And if you must walk alone to reach your throne, then walk, because kings are never born in comfort. They are born when a man decides that his life will be a legacy, or it will be nothing at all. Welcome to your reign. Now build it.